I wish you would have kept that to yourself. I wish you wouldn't have said that, actually. Okay, welcome back, guys, to Babe Let's Talk. That's gonna be BLT, your favorite podcast. I'm Eva, the host, and I've got my buddies, my pals, my besties with me.
Oh, Audrey and Allie.
So Allie and I are gonna be sharing a mic today. I have no way to edit the volume at all, and I don't care to. So if I'm a little loud at some points, grow up. Today we are talking about none other than the Marcus Monday mystery movie that we watched the other week. So the movie was Clown in a Cornfield. This video is going to be chock full of spoilers. This literally is all going to be about exactly what happens in the movie, exactly what we thought about it.
With all details.
With all details. So I don't want to hear anything about, you spoiled the movie for me. Read the book. Okay? It's not a surprise. Right off the bat, my first note on my list is I love gay people.
Thank God. I will say that the gay note was also first on my list.
I care maybe last on mine.
So Allie does not care about gay people the way I care about gay people.
Yeah.
Stop grunting.
Bubba is gay. Look at how he's treated. No, I love gay people. That was a very big part of the movie for me. Honestly, this second
Huge part.
huge meaningful part, guys. Two white gay men. Can't get worse than that, truly.
So they were kind of twinks too. I don't know if I can say that.
One of them was definitely a twink.
One was truly a twink and the other was
A redneck.
there. So anyway, I love gay people. It was a very big part of the movie for me. I love representation.
Why are you about it?
Loved it. What do you have to say about gay people? Into the mic. I
No
hate
worries.
gay people.
No worries. I forgot that there was
Us cheering in the movie.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that is a whole nother point I put on my list, is like the ambiance that was behind this movie. Like the environment that which we came into this movie, and that like everybody in the movie theater just agreed we were making comments on this movie as we were watching it.
Yeah. Because when it finally got to the point where, like, okay, so at the end, you know, it's what was the main guy's name? Cody? Cole, yeah. So Cole, his dad is like trying to hang him, womp womp, whatever. So then Rust
So
we just
No, I'll tell you later.
okay. So Rust comes out. Rust is such a fuck ass name. I can't.
No, that his name was Rustin was the crazy part.
Yeah.
Rustin, but called Rust.
Yeah.
Rust. Called Rust.
Rust for short. Rust is short for
Like, shouldn't Rust be short? Like,
Rustathin.
Rustathin is crazy. Rustathin. I just can't get over.
why would he not go by Rusty? That's my question.
Rusty is better. Rusty is truly better.
Isn't Rusty like an actual name?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. Because rust is just like what you find on a tire.
On a tire.
Well, I don't know. Where does rust grow? A bike.
Where does it grow?
Fuck.
Someone needs to go back to chemistry.
Stop bullying. Okay, well, whatever, guys. I guess your list. Start on that. Bully
My
me.
first point was also about the gay people, and the thing that was crazy about the gay person or the gay like guy plots is that like it really, like, I understood that there was this deeper meaning that like the town was so traditional, and he was like wanted to like Cole was still kind of living in that traditional manner by like not recognizing the fact that he was gay, but like
Yeah.
Rustin was like Cole portrayed that he was like this very going against the norm, going against the tradition thing, and Rustin was like a traditional like small town dude, like he just like hunted, like
yeah.
all those things.
Well, showed up at
And
the
then-
neighbor's house to walk Quinn to school.
Yeah,
Like very traditional.
but then he was the one who was like okay, comfortably
Yeah.
living and being
You're
gay, because
so right.
he said at the beginning of the movie he was like, I don't care like what people think of how I live.
Yeah.
And so I felt like I understood that point, but they didn't dive deep enough into it.
Yeah.
And then like they were just making out.
Yeah.
Like,
And it was my favorite part.
oh, of course it was. Are you fetishizing gay men?
And I love gay people was the last on your list.
Yeah. I just said gay in big letters.
I said I love gay people, all big letters.
Not little letters.
Thought the love triangle was going a completely different direction than it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be those two men and her, and instead the entire time it was the two men were boning for each other, and the girl wasn't even in the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy though is I didn't catch any of that.
No,
Really?
it was so hard
Like-
to catch in the
Like
beginning.
I didn't catch any of that like traditional kind of thing that you're talking about, but that's a really like valid like that's
Well, because
Yeah.
I remember at the beginning he very much said like I don't care what people. I don't remember the exact line, but he was like I don't care what people think of me.
yeah.
And then like it just like kept showing up throughout the movie, and then I still kind of didn't understand it. But then I like sat with it for a minute, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
like I get it.
No, that's a really good point. I hadn't thought
Mhm.
about that. I didn't think that too deep into it. I was like, yes, gay people.
We cheered so loud.
We did cheer. So first of all, it's the end of the movie. Rust is saving Cole, okay? His dad's gonna like kill him, hang him, whatever, womp womp, okay? Rust comes out of nowhere after you think he died. Okay, Rust comes out of nowhere and he saves Cole. And of course they're like, oh, like blah 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 blah. And Allie and I looked at each other and we were like, and then 2 seconds later, there they were. And it was literally I have this on my list as stop making out like the Fred movie. You know the Fred movie where he throws the fake party and he videos himself in the closet doing like this? And then that's
Because
kissing
literally, the girl, what was her name?
Quinn.
Quinn was talking to her dad, like trying to help her dad. Get out the background.
Literally, her dad just had to like deal with some crazy psycho clowns that like tried to kill him to force them to fix this guy's hand. Literally, like killed another guy, stole the fucking walkie-talkie, went and found her, and they're like consoling each other and being like, "We're not running away anymore." Like blah 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 blah, all of this stuff. While they're like,
So funny because like they're having this serious conversation, and it's me and you cheering still.
we were literally going. Respectfully, of course, in a movie theater, but
I feel though, like in general, we moved on from the fact that like Russ just survived.
no, I said that too. I said they moved on from. No, I said shit. I didn't talk about that, but I thought that. Like they blow up this big barn and like run away from the clowns, and then like Cole's all like, "No, we have to go back for him," and they're like, "No, we can't go back for him," and they just assume that he's dead. First of all, the whole audience knows he's not dead. And then what they did do good though is that they waited enough time. They waited a long enough
I kind of
time
forgot about him.
into the movie to like bring him back that we like forgot about him. I think that was
Yeah,
really well done.
Like 100 people died in that time.
That's also true.
Because there is also the point of like, did the clowns not even go after like the other young kids?
And that's what I'm saying. They didn't touch on the barn, the big barn at all.
Yeah, how they just
Remember-
like
Only killed that one other person that wasn't in that group, and it was just to get them to come out because they thought it was with their video.
Oh yeah.
It was that one girl. I'm like, oh, and they messed with the arrow in her back.
The white.
Oh yeah, they were
no,
like,
no, no.
"Oh,
That's
you're
the-
dead," and then they like flicked the arrow.
That's
That was
really
crazy.
the only person they killed not in that group of people that
Yeah.
we see at least.
And then the one girl like holds up her boyfriend's head and then realizes it's like real.
yeah,
You remember that? That was crazy.
Oh, I distinctly remember that scene.
I recall.
throwing a head around, all the blood being everywhere.
On her white top.
Yeah.
Next up on my list, the acting, tragic. That's what
Except
I
for
wrote.
one specific character.
And I said Kevin Durand, not Durant.
Kevin Durant.
Different people, okay? So the entire movie, horrible, horrible acting. So bad, so bad. Quinn's dad, somewhat okay. Not the worst. The only actor that was good, though, was Cole's dad, the like main evil guy who was like the mayor. And his name is Kevin Durand. Phenomenal actor. He did a fantastic
he was
job.
really good.
All of it, the rest of it, tragic.
I loved Quinn's dad. He was such
Yeah.
like a good like bad dad, like a
I
bad
agree.
dad trying so
Yes.
hard to be a good dad.
Yeah.
I agree with that, yeah.
Because he was awful at what he was doing. He never made one right choice until the very end.
He did that surgery.
Stole the walkie-talkie. That's the end of the movie. I said until the end.
Mm-hmm.
I have a specific point about Cole's dad.
Speak.
Why wasn't he in a mask? He had his face painted.
No,
He wasn't in a mask.
I thought the
He
same
is
thing.
Frendo.
And low key, I think that's what it was. Because remember, his great grandfather was the one who started the tradition of like like purging the population.
Yeah.
They're dressing up as
But
Frendo, but he
But he is
Frendo.
Dang.
T and clock that.
I think that was the whole purpose.
I think that's gonna be my new phrase from now on. Y'all dressing like Frendo, I am Frendo.
I am Frendo.
That's gonna be the bio on the gram. If y'all ain't following the gram,
My
please follow
pronouns
the
are he
gram.
because I'll never be him.
I'm him. I'm Frendo. Did you know there's multiple books?
And are we reading?
What is the second
Please,
book
we're
about?
reading a book club next. Book club.
So we want to do coming soon, y'all. We're gonna do book club episodes where we all read the same book at our own pace. So it's coming when it comes. It's not gonna be monthly. Okay, it happens when it happens at the right time, guys.
I've been looking at us.
Truly. And
you
I
kind of clocked that.
I do think our first one's gonna be Sunrise on the Reaping.
Oh well, yes.
Because I have to read that one soon. I don't know. You take your time with it though, honey. Don't worry.
I'm there.
Okay. Yep. No.
And-
He's in love.
And I'm ahead of the game.
She is. I have no access to it yet.
The book's right over there.
Clock that.
Please leave that out of the video. Please keep that to you. I wish you would have kept that to yourself. I wish you wouldn't have said that, actually. But anyway, Sunrise on the Reaping. And then I think Clown in a Cornfield next.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's multiple, and we have to read the second eventually. It's Clown in a Cornfield, Frendo Returns.
So the end. So
Frendo
is there gonna be a
returns.
second movie? Because at the end of the movie, they had the box like in her car. She threw it out. Is there gonna be a second?
Oh my god, that was
movie?
one of my points too. Yeah.
I hope there's a second movie. I hope it's while she's in college. Frendo comes back.
Okay.
Frendo under the dorm. Frendo under that twin extra large.
She has to call her. She has to call the gays. over
Frendo
there.
in that commuter kitchen.
Gazer. Keep him there. Go on.
My race Frendo. My babysitter's a vampire.
Frendo said I couldn't keep the candles in the dorm. Sorry, guys.
Guys, Frendo
Five
took away
Nights
my
at
air
Freddy's.
fryer.
5 Nights at Frendo's.
Okay. But
Next.
now that we're using the word Frendo, or the name Frendo, who was that old man? Who said, don't fuck with Frendo in the jail?
So-
yeah. He must have still been in the jail right at the end. We never saw the end if he ever left.
Well, yeah, and like, I want to know what he did.
So my thought is, and I don't know how true this rings, because if you recall, the mayor at the end is explaining to Cole the like process of what they do. So
Uh-huh.
he's saying like, we purge the population, we want only like pure blood in the town and things like that. And so when he's talking, he mentions like, oh, those hippies, we killed those too, and he's going on and on.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of the movie, and we came in just a little bit late. We missed like probably about the first like minute, but no more than that. So when we came in, somebody had to get chicken nuggets.
I had not eaten all day. That was my only meal of the day, and it was like chicken nuggets, fries, and 2 strawberry hamburgers.
And guess what? Slapped.
Do you want that second one?
I destroyed the next day. I destroyed that second one.
Somebody had to.
It was delicious.
But we came in just a little bit late. But when we walked in, I remember it's at the same barn.
Mm-hmm.
So it's at the same barn, by the cornfield and stuff, and it's this guy walking around and he's being like, yeah, I thought we were gonna get high, and he's trying to find this girl, so he's like, bro, where are you? I thought we were gonna get high, like, where are you? And he's walking. Yes.
That was not how it goes.
So he's walking, to me he did. So he's walking into this field and he's like trying to find this girl, and then the girl gets killed and he finds Frendo. So then Frendo of course massacres everybody, and they purge the population. So my thought is somebody from that group, or that guy escaped.
Uh-huh.
And so then he probably escaped to a point where other witnesses who maybe weren't in on the clown stuff found him. So then they had to just put him in jail because they can't let him roam free and be like, yeah, these people are killing everybody. And so they put him in jail. So that was my thought process. That's who I thought that might have been. However, he was just a little bit too old, and his age did not match Cole's father in the way that would have made sense unless it had been Cole's father's father.
Yeah,
Who
that's
was
kind of what I
leading
think.
that one, and maybe he was like under his wing, like being in a
Because Cole's
Yeah.
father was old, but he was like very, very old.
yeah,
Like he was just like 50s, probably.
yeah, but it was also hard to tell because he is an actor,
Well, yeah.
and so I'm sure he looks far younger than he actually is. But no, so that was my thing. So unless I don't know, that's who I kind of guessed it might have been.
And it could be someone from that like group of kids too that they painted as like
Oh, the
maybe the
killer.
person that did it, or someone that's just
Yeah.
crazy,
Oh.
like on drugs, and like they just keep being able to like put him in jail because he's
Yeah.
crazy, even though he's not really lying.
Yeah.
No, that's
a
actually
really smart point.
that's a really good point because he seemed so like don't mess with friendo specifically. Like at no point did he say like the sheriff or the officer or anything. He
Yeah.
specifically said friendo, so that makes sense too. Actually, more sense that it would be like don't mess with the clown because the clown did this. Do you have thoughts on who it is?
No, I didn't have any thoughts. I was just
Okay.
like curious. Like
Yeah.
I thought that like it was probably like I thought very similarly to what you did, but I just like I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know because I feel like it was another point where like I wish it would have been like brought up later, but I guess it's like you're supposed to think about it.
Yeah. No, that makes sense for sure. No, that was a good point. I said they moved on from the whole massacre way too quickly. Quinn killed 3 people. You need to like she killed 3 human beings. Yes.
And she is in high school.
Yeah.
And a year later, she was driving up to college.
With her dad being mayor.
Not even a
The mayor plot was crazy because why would he want to be mayor?
He doesn't want to
Truly.
leave. They're not running away.
He's
Okay,
a doctor.
I'm sorry, he
He's
should not have.
bored.
He should not have run away from like the town that he lived in after his wife died. But it was okay running away from the giant scary clowns that were killing people. Like
Yeah.
that was very clearly a
True.
thing they could have run from
True.
very easily
Yeah.
and would have been very
just
justified.
fine. They would have been all right.
Like that actually seems like the smart thing to do.
Yeah, I forgot he ran for mayor. That's crazy. Like, I just kept thinking about it. I was like, Quinn literally took the life of 3 separate people.
Yeah,
They were
in like horrific ways.
in horrific ways.
Yeah,
like
none
like
of them were calm.
like truly that. Like this the pitchfork to the one guy.
The
as
pitchfork
he
was
pull-
crazy.
She pulled the pitchfork from this girl that she had made friends with, and then pitchforked a clown who was a real man. And then they both said they hated her. Fuck you. First of all, like, what are we talking about? Like, and then they just moved on from it. Like, whatever.
Yeah,
I feel like there's so much trauma going on in that moment, though.
but like a year later, they were joking about the clown.
Was it only a year, though? Was
Yeah,
she a junior?
because she was
It
a
wasn't
senior.
even a year though, because she
Oh,
only
yeah.
had a couple months.
Yeah, she was a senior.
It
and
was
she
mid senior
graduating that.
year.
Okay, she was a senior.
So like probably like 6 months,
Mhm.
maybe.
And that's... I mean, I would not be as chill living in the same house and all that stuff. But
6 months later, and he's running for mayor.
he said he's bored.
He said,
There's no old people for his practice anymore.
I need something to do.
all those old people are dead. It's all fucking teenagers. Because literally every
true.
single person in that city that was older than like 35 was a clown. So
Yeah.
he has no one to no one to heal.
A killer clown at that.
Yeah, like
Hey.
Oh, I do have it on my list. It's diabolical that we didn't see how Rust escaped. I knew I had it on my
Exactly.
list. I just couldn't remember where I had it. I do have that on my list.
Yeah.
Rust is the guy who got blown up in the barn, and then we were like, where is he? And then he appeared again. I did have that.
he must have just like jumped down and then was like the explosion was so rough he couldn't move. For a
I
minute.
wonder, but my thought process is, what if they didn't even want to kill him
because he wasn't part of the
because he
group.
wasn't part of their group,
His picture wasn't on the
and
wall.
he was like a very traditional guy.
You are so right.
They probably didn't even put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
Because if he broke off from that group, they're seeing him as a good person.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness. I had not thought. You are so right. That's probably why they didn't kill the rest of the kids in the barn either.
well, yeah,
Or we didn't see it at least. I'm sure they went. Well, I
They
don't.
might have messed with them to keep him in there or something,
Yeah.
but I don't think they would have killed him.
Well,
Yeah.
and I do think they would have killed the ones in the barn. I don't think they would have messed with Russ though, because you're so right. Because the whole point is like Gen Z with their TikTok and their videos and their this
Yeah.
and that, and Rust didn't play into.
there
any of
was
that.
just, I feel like it wasn't as personal for like the kids who weren't in the group. So like when they go in the barn, like yeah, maybe they mess with them a little, or like they make like some attempt, but like the main focus and the people they're plotting against is those
the
kids,
sun.
because like they set up the trap
Yeah.
for them to
Mhm.
see all that stuff.
yeah,
And like the pictures on the wall was just those kids.
that's true.
And they just added Quinn into it because she was hanging out with that
Yeah,
group.
and she
Yeah.
was new into
And
town.
she was new, so they didn't
Uh-huh.
really know.
That makes total sense, you guys. Damn. What's next on your list?
Okay, I wanted to point out that they hit both a strained father-daughter relationship and father-son relationship. And
Yes.
mother-daughter because her mom died from an OD.
Yes. Well, and
Well-
partly I would say Cole's mom too,
Yeah.
because at the
That was another moment in the movie that I thought was crazy was when like how much does Cole's mom know or take part in this like big old like tradition
Yeah.
thing? Because like the argument at the beginning is that he's doing all this stuff, or like the mayor, the dad, is like doing all this stuff because like he killed his little sister and then like set the like he tells the town that that's what he's doing is because then he set the whatever place on fire, the factory on fire. But then like he admits that it really didn't have to do with any of that.
Yeah.
He was just able to make them believe it.
Yeah.
Do you think that that was still like in some parts a reaction from the daughter's death? And if so,
For
do you
sure.
think the mom thinks the same way, or that the mom is like able to see how like it was really just
she
an
was
accident?
trying to give him like one last day of freedom.
Yeah.
So maybe she did know, because and then was like trying to get him because she
Oh,
was
I
like
didn't
you
think of
like
that.
because when they were like talking, he was like, "No, you're grounded. You're not going out." Blah, like you're during the Founder's Day,
Uh-huh.
like he was going to leave, and the dad was like, "Where are you going?" And she was like, "Just let him go." So like they were trying to like she was like giving him like a day of freedom.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, did she know? And
Yeah.
she just was like, "Give him the day, and then I don't care."
Yeah.
Maybe.
Or did
Or-
she not know, and she just wanted to save him from his wrath of the day?
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming his home life wasn't amazing.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. And then I thought it was so weird to see their bond, like Quinn and Cole's bonding because like she had lost her mom and he had lost his sister, when like that wasn't really a big part in the movie.
No, it wasn't a big problem.
Like it explained why they moved, but like it didn't have to exist
Yes.
Yeah.
to move the story
Yeah.
along.
Like, honest to God, they could have just been divorced.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it would have made like
And
no difference.
even if Cole's sister, like that whole plotline didn't exist, it really wouldn't have made any difference
at all.
I wonder maybe if they elaborate more on it in the book.
That's what I'm thinking
They
too.
might, because then you also get like in like their head, what they're thinking in their heads.
Yeah.
Because when
Yeah.
you're like watching it on like a movie, you never really know what they're thinking. But when
Mhm.
like you're reading the book, all it is what they're thinking.
Yeah. For sure. No, that's a good point though. And nope, I'm afraid I've lost it. Dang.
Do you have another thing on your list? Because I do have another one.
Why did they have to start with killing the black guy?
I put that on my list. I said
I looked at
my next one was they killed the black guy first. The second, oh yeah, they killed the black guy first.
They killed the black guy first, and then the second guy killed was the only other person of color, the black woman's boyfriend.
and then they
Yeah.
killed the black woman.
And then they killed the
And
black
then they
girl.
killed the black girl.
I literally was like watching, and I look at Audrey. I go, "There's no way they killed the black guy first." And then I look back at the movie, and I look back at her, and I was like, "They're gonna kill the black guy first." And then they did. And then, first of all, why do you have no parents?
See,
that's the
at
thing.
no point did he have any sort of
They
parents.
get home from this party that they were like having, or like they were drinking in the factory at 1 a.m. because like the dad remarks on how late she had come home, and then he's literally playing the drums
And
in
like,
his basement
the
with
thing,
nobody there.
and the thing that like hinted out that they were gonna kill him or whatever was like the video on the phone, and it has like the clown in the background. She goes like, "Who's the friend?" And then all of a sudden there's crashing outside, and you were like, "Oh, I'm gonna go investigate."
Yes.
But first of all, that's none of your friends, because all your friends were waiting over there,
Yeah.
and you know they were
Yeah.
because you were in the video. So who the fuck do you think is back
Yeah.
there?
Truly.
So like, why were you thinking, "Oh, they must have put someone in a suit" when they have no other friends because no one else likes them?
And wouldn't you think you maybe had the only suit since you were the prankster guy?
Yes. And like I know
Like-
Cole had access to other suits because of the factory and all that kind of stuff. And like
Mm.
obviously in the end we saw all those suits, and like
Yeah.
all the clowns have all these suits. But like they don't know that. All they know is that Cole brought them home a suit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they were like, "No, I'm gonna go investigate this."
I know, and then just like I get it because it's supposed to set up like this like
The black guy.
oh well no I don't get the killing of the black guy first. I'm talking about how like they always thought it was their friends.
Yeah.
Like, I get the point of it, but it was just like so stupid every time because you're like, it's not them. It's not them.
I am interested in who, like, what each individual in that group thought about the factory burning down, because you have to think that the blonde girl probably thought it was somebody else, and then the boyfriend of the black girl probably thought it was that black guy, and then the black guy probably thought it was somebody else because he was the prankster, but he didn't do it, and then Cole probably thought it was maybe all of them working together or whatever it was. Like, it had to have been like, there had to have been pointing fingers.
I think they all thought it was Cole.
I low-key also might think they all thought it was Cole.
That actually makes so much more sense.
Because, no, I do get what you're saying. Like, it is
Because
interesting.
it also was getting pointed at all of them all at once.
Yeah.
And so you gotta think that they're like, well, we didn't do it. And they're like thinking, and then everything's always getting blamed on Cole.
Mhm.
It's just like an easy finger pointer.
Yeah. No, that makes so much more sense that they would all think it was Cole.
But also, they were like kind of defending him when she asked about it, because Quinn asked about it, and she was like, well, they think we did it or Cole did it. I don't remember exactly, but that's not true.
Well, I think also there is the point of like that they believe that it's very possibly that it wasn't their fault, but they believe that like if it were to be done by somebody, it would be done by this person, but they care about this person enough to like still defend that they didn't do it.
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, that's normal.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Do we remember how did the sister die?
She jumped off a cliff trying to get into water,
Right.
but she missed the water.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, for some reason I kept thinking that she like died in a fire somehow.
No.
But I knew that was wrong. I knew that wasn't right. But I was like,
Too much
I was
symbolism.
like, she died in the fire. That makes more sense. Yes.
Because he was supposed to be watching her. And
Yeah.
she missed the water.
Yeah.
And then obviously there's not much you can do after that.
Yeah.
In a small town, they don't really got vouchers like that.
Yeah.
They just got one.
They just got, and he's mayor.
They just matter.
Does it all?
A man of many wonders, truly.
Who was the juggler?
Who
It-
was the juggler?
Had to have been the teacher.
Had to have been.
That's the only body type that we saw that fit.
Had to have
Because
been.
It like I was like, oh, maybe it was the guy in the jail. They looked nothing alike.
Mm-mm.
Because this guy was so like skinny and stocky.
Like so skinny where it was like immediately I was like, that's not Tucker.
Yeah.
Like immediately I was like, that's not one of their friends, because they're all kind of like, even though they're teenagers, they're on like the buffer side, but the teacher, because you could like see his hip bones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's how like thin he was, and so like it just didn't fit anybody. It had to have been the teacher.
So then the follow-up question is, was the distraction on purpose so people would think that it was them?
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Because
Absolutely.
especially with the mask on.
Yeah.
Because then they're thinking, oh, the only people that we know with the mask is, but you know they all have them somehow.
Yeah.
But like all the kids are gonna start pointing at them because they know it, and then all the people that aren't in on it, which I fear was very few, should not have been as few as it was. Also, like, oh, they did it, and then it's just easier to.
Yeah.
But there's no way they thought that was a teenage boy.
No, none at all.
No.
No, maybe because like for a moment I wondered if it was Rust, because that guy was
Yeah.
taller. Because the guy was taller on the tricycle.
I feel like Russ
But-
was suspicious for like a little bit of time.
Yes, and I think they did it very purposefully. So
Yeah.
I think they chose somebody
because they
who
were
was
trying to point him like, oh, as the bad guy in the beginning,
Yeah.
and then you're realizing that like really Cole was the bad guy for that, but like
Yes.
he was the bad guy in the movie.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because they did really make you think then Cole was the bad guy when he hands her the Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
That
And,
like,
like,
whole like
She
whole like part of the movie, I was like, no.
for real.
And then when like it wasn't him, I was like, oh thank God.
Like my thing is I do think they did make that guy look like Rust.
Yeah.
But then I was like, Rust is still musclier than that. Like more
Yeah.
muscly than that. Like then once we saw him again holding like the deer crossing the road, then it was like, oh no, could not have been
Yeah.
him.
All the twinks were adults.
Clock that.
All the teenagers were buff as hell.
Truly,
Other than
truly.
maybe Cole. But Cole was still like a bigger guy.
He
He
was-
was still like masculine.
He was like just a regular guy.
Yeah.
He was still like full.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he had like a thick neck too.
Mhm.
So you know,
Like he definitely did some kind of working out sometimes with his friends occasionally, but those old people were not.
yeah.
He did some working out in the bedroom with Rust.
I hope so.
Getting freaky with it. Getting freaky with it. My next thing on my list is, and I wrote with a star next to it, the second multiple clowns came out, I knew. The second multiple clowns came out of that goddamn cornfield, I was like, it has to be the adults of the town. There was so much foreshadowing. There was so many messages. There were so many. And then next to that, I have big ass sheriff. The only person who was built like that was the sheriff. They had not a single other, like, even remotely plus size body other than the sheriff. So the
I would say
second,
the sheriff and the guy that owns the gas station guy, but he had a very different body
yes,
type.
Yeah, he was short.
He was short.
Like his, and also it was still just like different body type
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah.
That like you would be able to tell from a mile away that
Be-
was not him.
Because the sheriff was very tall and very broad.
Yeah.
Very, very broad. The gas station guy was shorter
I
and just a little bit like chunky. So the second that the big clown came out, I was like, it has to be the adults and it has to be the sheriff there. Even when they tried to like throw it off and have the sheriff come running down the road, first of all, too convenient to have the car there when
Yeah.
they came out the cornfield.
Okay.
Second of
Yeah.
all, the only person shaped like that or built like that
Yeah.
was the sheriff. There's no way it's not him.
That's
At
that-
least part of it.
It took me until the part with the sheriff, and the reason I could figure it out is because, like, why would he only take Cole? That would
Yeah.
make no
when
sense.
He only took.
He
Paul's,
only arrests them and just leaves them, and then like, for what?
Yeah.
Like, it made no sense. So then I was like, oh, good. But for a second after that, I did think that like they were gonna kill everybody else, but they were protecting Cole because he was the mayor's son. But really, it was the exact opposite.
Oh yeah.
really, it was the exact opposite. Of what I thought.
Yeah.
I thought like when the clowns started coming out, I thought tops maybe 10, and then they just kept coming, and I was like, what
Yeah.
the fuck?
And for being such a small town, how are there so many murderers in it?
See, that's the thing. Is
Is
this is why that story is so unrealistic, because I know how quick, like, you do not know how much gossip I would be spreading if I lived in a small town.
truly, I couldn't keep it shut. I could not
Everybody
keep
would
my
know
mouth
everybody's
shut.
business. So there's no way they wouldn't have figured this out yet.
Yeah.
And like, there's no way that you convinced that many people to become a killer clown based
Well-
on a fire at the factory and a sister being dead.
No, my
Yeah.
guess is their families had been convincing them this whole time.
It has to be like generations of generations
Yeah.
of generations of convincing from
Because
every single head of family. It cannot just. But he was like talking about it the way he was talking about it. I was like, oh, just to spread a few lies. That could not have been you. That could have been like your great grandparents and their friends all spread it down, and then they killed off all these other families. So now it's only these families left that are already killers, and they're just giving it to their kids.
Yeah.
Giving it
Well,
to their kids.
if you think about it, the people, like, I guess the main people we saw in this group of clowns, it was like people who had jobs that very like often run in families, like owning a gas station or being a sheriff or
Or-
working at the diner.
Or very influential.
Yeah,
ones,
or
where,
being a
like, the
teacher.
or the sheriff.
Yeah.
Or the mayor. Very influential.
Yeah. And so, like, through their generations, they were probably like, oh, like, this is kind of the order we follow of things.
Mhm.
Like, this is who we have leading us because they will know what is best for us, which is probably how, like, even if they did hold elections,
Yeah.
they would still be mayor every time.
And even if it doesn't, like, even if the intention of the book or the movie did not run this deep, I do think it's a very good commentary on how you follow your family.
Yeah.
Very, very good commentary on how you follow your family. Like, all of these generations had to have followed those that came before them to continue this tradition. Like, a big part of it was the mayor talking about how it was a tradition and how they did this forever and ever since Frendo was created.
And like, how did you think killing his son was gonna carry on the tradition? Like, who was he gonna give
Yeah.
it on to?
Yeah.
See, that is a really good point to the movie, too.
Because like, was he gonna pick like this random kid and hope to God?
Well, remember, he said he was just going to have another.
With
Oh,
what wife? 'Cause
yeah.
where was she? And also, what do
True.
you think she's gonna feel like
You
when both their kids are dead?
Maybe he
True.
filled up her water bottle, put her in bed, gave her a Kindle,
And you know what? I'd be down.
and she was set.
Made her a snack plate.
I wouldn't even be thinking about the screams outside.
Yeah. I'd be like, "Ugh,
that is unfortunate.
I'm at a scary
my
point
problem.
in my book, and I'm just hearing it out loud.
Not my
Right.
problem.
I need my AirPods. They're outside.
What is that noise out there?
Me when my AirPods are dead.
I do
Oh!
I do think this is kind of just saying what you said, but like it is a very good commentary on tradition itself.
Yeah.
And like how you can still maintain like how Rust maintained like very traditional values while
Yes.
also being like progressive and good-hearted and really like
True to himself.
in a way, yeah, true to himself in a way that like Cole was someone who like very clearly went against tradition, but then
Mhm.
couldn't live in the like
The progressive.
the
way.
progressive
was
ways
too
in which
far,
yeah,
yeah.
like that was too far, and just how like tradition is so good because it like not to be like oh a good part of the movie, like it brings people together
Yes, for sure.
and like brings people together on topics, but like how harmful it can be and how that can quickly turn into just like separation and
Yeah.
hierarchy and things like that.
This is completely off topic. So
Speak on it.
To say on.
No,
Speak on it.
Okay. How do you think Quinn's dad responded when the guy that she was making out with also was making out with the dude behind them?
See, I did think that too.
And like, I had to pull my daughter out of this guy's car because they were making out in the front seat, and I banned them from ever seeing each other. And then next time I saw them, he was making out with a guy.
And the next time I saw him, he was gay. My daughter was such a bad kisser, he turned him gay.
And like, obviously, they became friends in the end because like they sent her off to college and they were all there.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. So it's like, how did she have to break that to him?
Yeah.
Because they already had the like estranged relationship,
Yeah.
and then having to explain. Sorry, that guy you saw me kissing in his car the other day. Turns out I was going way too hard because he was gay the whole time.
And by the way,
And trust me, I
Kissing
tried.
back in the car.
he was
He
kissing
was.
back. I think he was a little conflicted.
I think he really wanted to be straight.
Yeah, he really wanted to be straight, and then like he could like do the kissing and like the emotional connection, but like not sex. Because like it was when she started wanting to have sex that he was like,
he said, "Slow down."
he said, "Slow down."
And then she said, "Like this," and he said, "No."
He said, "Get the fuck off me. I wish you were a man."
He
said,
said,
"Ugh."
"You have a penis under there."
Is your name Rustin?
Does your name rhyme with busted?
Busted. That's what he's gonna be doing.
True.
I'm sorry, did I wake you up?
My last note is, now that there are vapes in movies, why are they so goddamn loud?
Because you hear them in real life.
Why
You
are
have
they
to hear
so
them in-
loud? Why are they so loud?
And why are they so ugly? They can't make like a geek bar.
Because
Like
yeah,
it's always gonna be like
can't have a
this
vape
big,
Because
like-
they can't get sponsored by Geek Bar. You can't sponsor the movie by Geek Bar.
Because the other movie that I've watched that has vapes in it, or one of the other movies that I've watched, is Blink Twice with Channing
Oh,
Tatum.
yeah. and
So-
it's so loud and Blink Twice.
So, to be fair though, with Blink Twice, it's such an integral part to the movie. I can see it in that movie because it's supposed to draw attention to the item that he's holding and like partaking in over and over again. But in this movie,
they hit it like twice.
it had no point being that loud.
We couldn't hold the traditional values of just smoking a damn cigarette.
No, really.
Truly, we couldn't have a Virginia Slim in that pocket. We had to have a geek bar.
I think that this is just like a very personal opinion I have,
Mhm.
but I hate when there are so many real world elements in movies that I'm
No,
watching or
yes.
shows that I'm watching.
Or
I don't
books
want
that
you to
I'm reading.
mention PayPal. I don't want you to mention TikTok.
Yeah.
I don't want you to be on your phone, and I don't want you hitting a vape.
Yeah. No, and I agree with that with books too. I don't like it when I'm reading a book and then we're like, I get out my phone and I send a text. No, you don't.
No, you
send
don't.
a pigeon.
Yeah, literally, if
Send
you're
a
not
dove.
calling on that rotary phone, if you're not picking up the landline,
We need to talk about the rotary phone.
The rotary phone. Who doesn't know how to use a rotary phone?
we actually, I feel like, need to talk about that whole scene where they come up to this house.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like,
So much happened.
first of all, why would you think this house was a safe place?
It never could be.
when you're being chased by that many people,
You don't think they would have figured out the closest house?
Mm-hmm.
and like would have been had at least someone waiting there, even if it wasn't the person living there.
Yeah.
Someone.
Or around there?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then they walk into the house.
Well,
And
first of all, the
almost
girl knocks
not.
first.
Yeah, she knocks.
Fuck you for knocking.
That girl pissed me off.
Yes,
I really
over
did
and
not
over
like
and over
her.
again. Shut up.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Shut up.
It's because she was mad that. Pretty sure she had a crush on Cole,
Oh, well,
and so
yeah.
she was mad that Quinn was her little boyfriend's little new boo thing. I hope that Mike picked up that
No, because that noise was kind of crazy.
Bubba.
noise. He said, "I'm not happy." He said, "It's past me and Mama's bedtime."
Is
But-
Bubba his name that he came with?
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't change it. We're lazy. Also, he's 8.
Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah,
to
he's too
change.
old to change
He
it.
barely listens to Bubba.
Bubba.
He's sleeping.
Sorry.
Okay, yeah, so then they knock on this door. Then they walk into the house. And then they see a clown. But
On a
they're, like,
recliner.
on a recliner.
Mm.
Facing the door. And they're like, "Oh, he's dead. He's dead." Like,
And then
Because he had a scar on his face too.
they had a
Yeah.
scar on his face, and he had like a pill bottle out.
Yeah.
Which, like, 2 reasons of like, oh, he's dead,
Mhm.
and they poke him with something, he doesn't immediately get up. But you can very clearly see him breathing throughout the movie.
Yes.
Like, they didn't even try to like hold their breath or anything. He's like taking deep breaths,
He's sitting there literally like this.
but like no noise.
but yeah, you can very clearly see the rise and fall.
And I don't even think he was sleeping. I think he genuinely
No,
wanted
he
them to
wasn't
go
sleeping.
upstairs,
Yeah.
see that they are like failed because first of all he knows they ain't using that damn rotary phone, and then also who they gonna call, the sheriff who's also a clown.
Yeah.
They're gonna see that it's of their faces on the wall. They're gonna freak out, run downstairs, and he's waiting for him.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what? He got one of them.
Yeah.
He
And
got the ass.
when
That
they go
pitchfork,
upstairs
dude.
and they see the wall that has like all of like their pictures and everything, and like kind of can unravel the plan, there's a rotary phone. So like, okay, we'll call for help. They don't know how to use the rotary phone, of course.
How
Which-
fuck do you not know how to use a
Yeah,
rotary phone?
I know how
Sorry.
to use a rotary phone, but even if I didn't, just fucking try.
Like they didn't even try.
They, like,
They
tried
just
through
gave
it.
up.
They were
gave
just like-
up.
They were like, oh, how do I use that?
They were like, I could never possibly learn how to use this.
And then they were
they
like,
gave up.
It's a trap.
Yeah. Fuck you. Because, like, also, didn't we all have those, like, little red, white, and blue, like,
Yeah,
pretend
like
rotary
the
phones
pretend ones.
with the yellow cord? Like,
Yeah.
how did y'all, like, or at least see it at a Goodwill once in a while? I never had one, but I'd see them at the
I had
Goodwill
a
all the
pink
time.
princess one.
Yeah.
And like I know that they technically are younger than us,
Mm.
but like they're my sister's age.
And again, back to tradition.
Yeah.
Back to tradition. Back to that kind of, like, developing,
Yeah, like it was a very
generations
like
and
dig
stuff.
at like the fact
Yes.
that they didn't know how to do it.
And I do think that, and then this kind of circles back to like the bad acting or like because like arguably the movie was bad. Arguably
And I loved it.
the movie was not good. However, I had such a good time with it, and it was almost like, and now don't hate me for this, but it was almost like the Minecraft movie where they played into the fact that it was going to be bad. You know, like
Yeah.
you have to play into that. So like it was very much so like 80s thrasher, which again circles back to the tradition. And I think that like it was a bad movie, but they really truly did play into that. And so like having that dig where it was like it was meant to anger people of our age because
Yeah.
we're like, obviously we know how to use a ready phone, bruh. So like it did exactly
That's
what
a
it's
good
supposed to do. You know?
I think it was also kind of very like it reminded me of Scary Movie in the way of like it was definitely like supposed to be like slasher, like there was like that like kind of gross element to it or like the deeper element, but it was also like it was just supposed to be kind of funny.
Yeah.
Like you were supposed to like be kind of annoyed.
Yes.
At the whole time about what they were doing.
Because then there wasn't like it was rated R and there wasn't really like real gore, but like they
Yeah.
still could show like blood and they could show that chainsaw kill in like its full glory.
Or the hand that he's pulling
the
the bullets
hand,
from.
Yeah.
They can show all these things to their full glory that they really were. Because of how bad the acting was, also not being able to show that, I feel like it was not even a horror movie at that
Yeah,
point. Like
yeah,
it
for
was
sure.
just like why am I
Because
watching
there
this?
were honestly only like 3 or 4 jump scares throughout too.
Yeah.
There
and I
were
thought
not
they
that
were well
many.
placed too, because I
Yes.
hate jump scares
Yeah.
in general. Like I just think that they're a dumb way to get scares or like whatever. But I thought they were very well placed. And I thought there were many points where I thought there was going to be a jump scare and there wasn't.
Yeah.
And see, that's what always got me because I kept feeling there's
Yeah.
gonna be a jump scare here, and then nothing would happen, and then like I'm like obviously there's not gonna be a jump scare here, and then we get
And I
knives.
appreciated that, honestly.
I did like that. So they were again playing into like the bad kind of horror movie thing. Like they were very particular about the jump scares because that is such a classic way to just like do a scary movie. So being so meticulous with where they put it was a very smart move
Mhm.
with the rest of the movie itself.
Mhm. I think that like even just sitting down and talking about this movie though, like we're sitting here acknowledging that like objectively it was a bad movie, but we were able to think of like all these like deeper meanings in it, and to just think of like the beauty of creating a film, even if it's like objectively bad,
Or art at all.
because there's so much like it is so real and so meaningful to
Mhm.
the people who took so much time to write this,
Yeah.
and
for
like
sure.
it's becoming real and meaningful, and these like we're actually taking these lessons when we sit and think about it.
Mhm. And I think that just like goes for any sort of media or art ever,
Yeah.
is like you and like Brittany Broski said this basically you do not create art for other people, you create art for yourself.
Mhm.
The art is for the artist, and that is something that I believe since I was so young. And like that's part of the reason I feel like I am so creative nowadays. Not that I'm like the best artist ever or something, but I do have a lot of creativity and I like express it in a lot of different and original ways in my own time and on my own account because it's for me and it's not for other people. And I think once you recognize that, you are able to create something that truly does have value to it. So like even though this movie will not be a box like what's it called, a box office hit or
And
whatever.
it might be because I'm going to see it again.
Single-handedly.
The three of us. So
My family's going to see it.
thank God. Somebody has to.
I was talking to my dad about it today. He was like, "What?" I was like, "It is so bad, it's so good."
Can we come with?
Obviously,
They're good.
my dad might not say yes.
But don't worry, we'll show up next to your seats.
I didn't know we'd see you.
We're gonna fill the row. Fill the row.
Like, God.
But even with it being like a bad movie, like you were saying, like we were able to take so much from it with so much like lack of like face value meaning. You
Yeah.
know?
Like, we literally went to this movie just being like,
What are we gonna see?
mystery movie, this is so
Yeah.
fun.
And low-key, it was so fun.
And it was so fun. Yeah. But I think this is like literally not even related to the movie anymore, but just on your statement of like art
Yeah.
and like I feel like I struggled like with feeling like I wasn't a creative person because every time I made art I was making it for other people.
Yeah, no, you gotta make it for yourself.
Yeah.
You
So
gotta
that
make
makes
it
so
for
much
yourself.
sense.
You have to make it for yourself. If you like it, that's what matters. If you had fun while making it, that's what matters. Like that's not an easy mindset to make or a mindset to like shift to because it's not an easy mindset to shift to or an easy mindset to kind of adapt to because all of the world is always built on how others perceive you and how they perceive what you make. And it's such like we live in such a world that is built on making money. And if you don't make money from your art, that means it's bad art.
And the creation process is still your own and it's
Mhm.
your way of expressing like how you care for other people. So like that still is like super personal,
For
you know?
sure. But what do you have to say? Hito tsipi.
Okay, guys, that is the end of our video.
No more. We're done for the day.
We're done for the night.
Thank you for joining us on our thoughts about Clown in the Cornfield. We'll see you next week for a new and hot topic, new episode.
Yup.
Love y'all. Follow the Instagram, Babe Let's Talk Pod at Insta.